Okay, welcome guys. In this video, I'm going to do a stock blitz. So what that means is I'm going to go through just all the charts that I scan, pretty much every day, looking at those. I'm not going to go into as much detail on each chart. I'm just going to kind of cover, if there's any change, if I see anything that's interesting on the chart as of today. If there's no change, I'll just say there's nothing to really look at. We'll move on and we'll get right into it. So if you guys like this kind of style, then leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let's get right into it. All right, we'll start out with triple Qs. So triple Qs, looking at the daily, I don't see any real change today. Looking at the hourly, here's my trend line. I'm watching on the hourly. We just keep kind of creeping up that trend line. So no signals, no change, nothing really going on. I'm moving on. NASDAQ futures, something to just kind of look at. I've got this level of support right here, 13,770 or so. We're still above it, so until we kind of break down, not really interested in anything there. Moving on to the S&P 500. S&P 500 broke down right here from the trend line on the hourly the other day, and we're just backtesting, grinding higher. Look at these. It just looks almost algorithmic, like a computer's doing this, which it pretty much is, but just grinding higher. So just waiting for some sort of an impulsive break. I think we're going to break to the downside, but I don't see it yet. So until I see something, I'm just not really interested in any trade there. ES futures. Yeah, here's the ES futures, and I've got this trend line right about there. It looks like we need to come in for a full back test probably. So just waiting to see what happens there. But to me, it looks like we're going to run up and do a back test, then probably reject. So here's the small caps. Small caps running into some resistance right here, about 225. You can see here, that's where we gap down, hit it as resistance here, and we're back at it. So that is resistance. You could take a short trade here. That's I think that's objective to take a short trade right there at resistance. The only thing I don't like about that is on the daily chart, the more significant daily chart, here's your trend line coming off the March 2020 lows, held support here, and we recently just hit that. So that's a more significant trend line, and because we hit it, I think it's likely we're probably going to, I think we're probably likely going to make another all-time high in this one. But what I'm more interested in is just rather than shorting here at this minor resistance, if I'm going to short this thing, I want to see a break of this major trend line. I want to see a sell signal on that. Otherwise, I think it's likely we just continue to make a new high. And if we do make a new high, it's going to be a divergent high. The divergence will likely just be extended. It'll look something like this, and we'll just move this to a new divergence. That's what I anticipate. We make a new marginal high and then get rejected again. Moving on. Here's volatility, the VIX. I don't see anything going on in the VIX that tells me to get long the VIX or short the markets in general. So I'm not short any indices right now. I have obviously got some individual stock shorts. I think it's definitely a stock picker's market right now where, longs and shorts can work in individual stocks, but as a sector, I just don't see anything. I think VIX is likely going to drift lower back down to about 11. That's the area I'm going to become more interested in going long the VIX. We'll look for bullish divergences and whatnot. We do have bullish divergence on the RSI, and let me zoom in, not quite on the PPO right here. Oh, sorry, we do. There it is. Bullish divergence on the RSI and the PPO. So something to take note. We might get a spike in the VIX. Bullish divergence is not a reason to get long, just as negative divergence is not a reason to get short. It's just an indication that you want to look for trend reversals. But I don't see a trend reversal right now. Moving on. Financials. I think financials are going to drift lower, but here's what we got going on. We have this trend line here on the daily that we created. We broke that trend right there. There's your sell signal. And the next day, though, it did put in a bullish engulfing candle. So not the best kind of confirmation. Maybe this wants to run up and do a back test of this trend line and then reject. I am short the financials, and I'm looking to probably add to a short on a back test. As long as we keep this negative divergence intact and that doesn't, get burned through or it maybe makes a new high, something like that. As long as the momentum continues to drift lower, then I'll look to add to a short position on the financials on a back test. until then, I don't see any change. Today, we're just kind of, drifting around sideways. Okay, moving on. Energy, bouncing off support. Here's XOM. This is ExxonMobil. Here's your support right there, 55. Just holding support, so nothing really changing there. And we'll just kind of scan through all these. Walmart, I don't see any change here. Just kind of drifting sideways. No change today. Nothing going on in Uber. Nothing going on in Zoom. And when I say nothing going on, I'm talking about, we're not at any key levels. We're not at good entry points for trades. Like trade desk, right? We're just right in the middle. We're up kind of near resistance, but basically in the middle of a range. There's nothing to do there. You don't want to get positioned in the middle of a range. Tesla, kind of grinding higher. Tesla is, let's look at the daily here on Tesla. Yeah, we're just kind of grinding higher. Again, for me, it's this trend line. This is what I'm watching right there. Until we break that trend line, I just don't think there's any trade going on. Zillow Group, still have the head and shoulders intact. That hasn't been negated. Looks like we're just kind of holding this shoulder area. Still looking for something. They made it look like it was going to be an impulsive breakdown here, but they recovered it. So, yeah, no trade there for me on that one as of right now. Yeah, I don't see anything in Square. Snap, still short Snap. And, I shorted it basically at this resistance line or this back test basically, and we're still short. It's profitable. A little bounce today, but not much. I mean, it's basically flat. So, in general, still think we're trending lower over time. TAN, I talked about this one the other day, how I was getting out of this. I was covering my short. I did cover my short the other day, up today about 5%. So, again, TAN's got a resistance line. To me, looks like it's about 97.68 and support about 80.50. I'm looking for a break of support and the 200-day. If it breaks that, we're going lower. Otherwise, we're likely going to hold in this area and make another run higher. TAN has bullish divergence as well, so that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to be short something when bullish divergence starts showing up and we're at major support, which is what we were at the last 2 days, and you can see we're gapping higher. Shop, I don't see anything in Shop. Basically, we've just got some support here at 1,115. Nothing going on. Run, yeah, to me, Run's got bullish divergence. All right, so same as TAN. You can see right there. There's some bullish divergence in Run, and we just recut. This was my flag line. It's not. I wouldn't go off of it completely, but something like that. To me, I think Run probably is going to try to make a run higher. So that's what it looks like. Looks like Run's going higher. Riot. For Riot, I'm watching Bitcoin. And I had this trend line sitting right here. I had it right about there. And, but the thing is, this breakdown of this trend line is just so muted that I'd rather just give it the benefit of the doubt. And you see this break right here where it was like a bear trap. What I did is I just go like that. We're gonna just adjust that. So now we're capturing this. There's no bear trap. We're capturing this, and we're capturing this price action right here. I'm looking for a break of this trend line. If we break this, and we break it impulsively, then that would be your sell signal on Bitcoin, and that would be where, I'd be interested in probably shorting Riot again. Until I see that, there's just nothing going on there. Redfin, nothing going on. Just holding the trend line support right there. There's your daily trend line. Little brief whipsaw below, but they recovered it. It's still holding. So, nah, I don't see anything in Qualcomm drifting sideways. Nothing in PayPal. Peloton's near support right here. Now it hit support yesterday, 98.90. And bouncing off of that. So you need to see a break of that. Until then, we're at support. And no reason to necessarily short it until you see a sell signal. Nothing in pins. Philip Morris is on this one's doing really well. I actually own some of this in a different account. Not really a trading account, but and it's doing really well. And it pays a good dividend too, 5%. It is continuing to just move higher. So Philip Morris, I think, is in a bull market. So Philip Morris, here's the highs of Philip Morris back in 2017. Long, bear market going all the way back to the COVID 20 drop was the lows, and we've now broken out and clearly starting to take out the former highs, making higher highs and higher lows. To me, it looks like Philip Morris has started, is in a bull market now. So we'll watch that. We're probably going to start, look at a trend line, something like that, as the area to potentially buy or add to support. And that is what this thing's doing. I don't see a bearish, no real bearish rising wedge or anything. Looking at a little bit of divergence showing up. It's not confirmed, so bullish on that one. Looks good. Nothing going on here. NVIDIA, this is a divergent high right up here on the... Oh, no, sorry, it's not. It's not a divergent high. I talked about this the other day. So, I'm not bearish on that one, NVIDIA. It's there's no sign there. It looks bullish to me. Nike gapped down below this support at 130. Now, it did gap down here below, so looks like we also have a support line I marked out right there. We hit that support and the 200-day moving average, so confluence of support there. Until you break that level, I'm just not interested in shorting this one, 126.30. But big negative divergence is still intact. I don't see any change in momentum, so I think it's likely we drift lower on this one. NEO is running into resistance right here at $40. And NEO, did start to put in some bullish divergence. So I'm not so sure on this one right here at this level. I think this could go higher, maybe back up to this 48 or 49 area. Just skipping through some of these. KHC just continues to move higher. So KHC really does look like it's heading up to 48, 47.86 to fill that gap. It might get close, and then the sellers will step in. So I would look for a move close to the gap fill, maybe not quite, but still looks like it's going higher from here. Intel had this price channel right here on the daily chart. We just broke it the last couple days, and we're just drifting sideways. So I think Intel is actually on a sell signal. And Intel also has negative divergence right there. There's your negative divergence on the RSI and your negative divergence there on the PPO. You have a trend to watch. We broke trend. That's on a sell signal. I think, back tests are objective areas to add to a short or build a short position, in my opinion. That's a sell signal. And I would look at probably a move down to about here, which also looks to be the 200-day moving average, about $54. Looks good for me on that one. Nothing in Google. Gold. All right, so gold bullion getting rejected so far today, which is expected at 1790. 1790 is major resistance as it was major support. I think we are going to break it to the upside, but we're not going to just shoot right through it. We've got to battle with it. If you go to the weekly, you can see here, there's your 1790 level. There's back in 2011 through 2013 was resistance running up. That's an impulsive breakout right there where we shot higher above that. And recently we've just come down, hit it as support, bounced off of it, finally broke. So now we should probably battle with this as resistance for a little bit. So watch this level, because gold also, if it's going to get rejected here, gold has the potential to make another leg lower in this downtrend. We're not out of the woods yet completely in this longer term downtrend on the weekly. Now a break above this 1790, and what I'd like to see is a break, come back in, test it again, hold, and then start to move higher. To me, that would confirm that we're likely just going to make another move higher in gold and probably head up to 3,000 or 4,000 or wherever we're actually going. All right, that's what I got on gold. And then here's the miners. And this is a weekly chart on the miners. Clear breakout on the GDX. So from my perspective, the miners are starting to front run the metal and break out. That's why I think the metal is going to break higher as well. So I'm bullish and long pretty much across the board on gold proxies. All right, let's go back to the daily. For solar, that one's, moving higher. I don't see anything. I don't see any trade there. FedEx trending higher. Yeah, I don't see a trade on that one either. Obviously, FedEx, you can watch this trend line. It's right about there. Yeah, there it is. We're holding that, so no sell signal. Etsy, chopping sideways, just going. It's been sideways since mid-February, so multi-month sideways trading range. Nothing going on there. Trying to find anything interesting. DraftKings, yeah, it recovered that breakdown point the other day, so I don't know. It's right now. It's just kind of sideways. We might run up and hit this resistance line again and break down. It's kind of just chopping around a little bit. Yes, Carvana drifting sideways. Nothing going on. I mean, I think Carvana's heading lower over time, but right now we're just drifting sideways. But we've clearly broken this trend line support. We have negative divergence. We're drifting sideways. I think, pretty soon it'll come. The market will realize, and we're going to get a big impulsive sell down, but we just got to wait for it. Chewy drifting sideways. Bob is holding that support line, as I talked about, saying that this was looked like a good long in BABA yesterday, and so far up 1.5%. I did take a long position on this one yesterday, and it's again, there's your support line. And we're holding that. So until you see a breakdown of that, it's not, until you see a sell signal or an impulsive break, that looks like a long to me. Apps, Digital Turbine running into resistance right here at about 76. So that's an objective area to short. But of course, this thing could always run up to the next level. But right there is resistance. Support about 65. No change in Amazon. AMD drifting sideways. So again, a lot of these tech stocks that have broken out of their support range, they haven't broken down yet, but they're not going up. They're just sideways. They're just drifting sideways. And AMD is one of those. So we're just waiting for resolution to the downside on a lot of those. No change in Adobe. Apple's kind of, hanging in there. Nothing really going on. Let's see what else we got. The gold miners, they're all down today because gold hit that major resistance, so that makes sense. And the fangs are basically flat. Home builders, here's Lennar. So again, I talked about how I added to my short yesterday. So Lennar on the daily, there's your bearish, or on the hourly, there's your bearish rising wedge, there's your break and your back test. And we've failed so far. We're moving lower. All right. It went sideways for a little while. Then we made a move lower, run up to resistance right there, which was former support, 102. And then today gap down and still kind of holding sideways. So that I added to my short position yesterday at that 102. And I'm still looking for this to move down to at least 95. If we break 95, there is a big level of support back here all the way down at 71 that we could hit. So that would be my final target, would be down at 71. If it's going to break down and go lower, then 71 would be the final target. But looking at that 95.30 area to be the first level of support. Commodities, I actually added to my coffee position, Joe, yesterday. It was just kind of holding this over the last couple of days, just 38.50, but then all the other commodities were breaking higher, and Joe was just flat. That I didn't think that was going to stay, and so I figured coffee was going to continue to trend higher. Look at wheat today. That's a massive breakout right there in wheat, and there's really no other way to swing that but bullish. If you look at wheat, here's a big bear market in wheat on the daily going back to 2012. We've clearly broken out of that bear market, and it's in a bull market now. You can see we drifted sideways for a while. Now we're uptrending. Higher highs, higher lows. Wheat with a big, massive breakout today. These ag commodities are bullish in general. And yeah, wheat's starting to show. Here's corn. Look at corn. Pretty much gone parabolic in the last couple of weeks. But again, there's your downtrend line in corn. Clear bull market price action right there. We still have slight divergence, but it's not confirmed. because this is pointed straight up, and with the momentum just a little higher, and we're going to burn through what this divergence is. Soybeans moving higher. I mean, coffee is really the one that's lagging behind, so I'm looking for that to catch up. Lumber is gone ridiculous, and just moving higher. So sugar kind of moving higher. The ag commodities in general all look bullish. Moving on. All right, someone said Jets the other day, so I've been tracking it and watching it, but this is the trend line that I have in Jets, and we haven't broke that. There's no sell signal, so not really interested in shorting that one until you break that trend line on the daily chart. And there it is. Going back to the May 13th lows, reaction right there, reaction there. That's what I got on that one, and yep, and that's all I got. So there's just some charts I'm looking at. Obviously, there's lots of other stocks to look at. If you guys have any ideas or trade setups you want me to look at, leave a comment below. I'll take a look at those and try to include the interesting ones in future videos. And if you're new and you want to take my course and learn how to use technical analysis to find trade ideas for yourself and how to actually trade those once you find the idea, take the course. Link is in the description below. Other than that, that's all I got. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.